Hello and welcome to a review of the May 2018 Miniature Wargames issue number 421. I laid into it a bit last month and I have to say this month it's pretty good. In fact, this is a bit of a cracker. Okay, so first of all we got this little World War I image on the front and a little bit of a sad intro from Mr. Treadaway here, talking about some friends past. Unfortunately one of my friends as well, old Big Jim there. Sad times. Also, put the notes is the axe he's carrying, because that is a big sort of Dane axe or something. If you see, I know Mr. Treadaway's got pretty chunky forearms, but they're almost as chunky as the axe. It just goes to show how oversized some of our figures are, some of the weapons they carry. And there's a quick look if you want to check yourself through the index of what's in this action-packed issue, which, like I said, is pretty good. Right, first thing is Offensive or What, which is Offensive Miniatures, and they've got some sort of Hitler Youth and Last Defense of Berlin type stuff, which looks very interesting. A little bit controversial perhaps. And for those people who like to have their desk tidy, and they've got like the stuff that will fit inside that box. Hang on, who's it from? Sorry, I better check that. Always Hobbies. There you go. Interesting. Let's make it a bit of effort here. I like that. Mr. T, editing this magazine, but a bit of an effort, and done the sort of things you see on YouTube, to be honest. A little bit of a paint comparison, various paints, and you can see the outcomes, particularly with something like yellow, which is not very good. It's from War Colours. It's supposed to be very rich pigment paints. Particularly those colours don't come out too well normally, like yellows and browns and reds. Unfortunately, I can't really tell much from what the conclusion is, but there you go. Now then, there's finally, now I've always called this Outreamer, but apparently it's Outremer, if they want to give me an idea about what that is. And it's generally, it's a warband. You send a warband, either Christian or Islamic, which generally allows the player to field between 5 and 10 figures each for a game, maximum of 13, and this kind of stuff. Tells you more about it. And if you remember, there was a scenario in last month's, a little bit weird scheme, and it sort of bridges the gap, it says, between sort of role-playing and your wargaming. So there you go. There's some more stuff for the Patrick McGowan range. Like, it looks fantastic, and here's a flamethrower thing, which on targets. And Pigeon's Guard have been making the other stuff. Company I don't know about. There's some publishing adverts. It's probably North Star, usually is. Right, as always, Star Writer, send 3 and 4 pence. From Mr. Kinch, and this one is kind of a big thing. So he's building up figures and getting a bigger and bigger. I love this picture, by the way. Is that really your house, Mr. Kinch? I know you're a great writer, but you know, I can't remember the bestsellers that bought this stately mansion. Anyway, why do we play the different types of war gamers? Some like to collect, some like to paint, some just like to win, all that kind of thing, and how you. It's a nice long article, how you accommodate them. Right, dice tray thing, I'm not sure about that. Box that'll do for me. Hell by Daylight. I'm so tempted to talk about how well named these rules are. Hell by Daylight. It's part 4, I think I've said enough. That's interesting ideas this time. It's all about trying to run some tin pot country and insurgencies and government death squads and whatever. And it sounds great, but it just sort of rambles on, really. Someone needs to edit that, make it into a good set of rules, I'm sure. Right, this one of these things, very interesting article. I haven't seen much of Mr. Robert Piepenbrink. Sorry if I haven't pronounced your name correctly. Or if indeed it's a made-up one. You never know with things like this. Anyway, Mr. Treadaway's photographed it. And it's an interesting article all about how historical gamers were sort of being sucked in or taken over by fancy gamers and what we should think about it. And he makes some good points. So if you think they're being snobs, I don't take the whole article, we should read the magazine. But for example, you know, what about those folk musicians who don't want electric guitars at their gatherings? You know, so if historical gamers say they don't want too much fantasy or sci-fi, then maybe they got a right to do that. Alright, how sad. And then we got Nobody's Command Decisions by John Sutherland. And it's a really well put together article, and there's maps and different scenarios that might come about, all that kind of thing. Again, I don't really understand exactly how you're supposed to use it in the game, but still. So if you really dug into it, it could work for you. But I just use all the stuff that comes with it. The Orders of Battle, storylines, nice eye candy, all that kind of thing. And what's very interesting as well was this Villiers Bocage June 44 fact check. And it's all about Whitman and his famous rampage. So like taking out half a British division. Yes, what a tanker he was. So what's that? Oh, it's Two Fat Lardies being funny again. I remember years ago we got into real trouble at Salute for putting an image of a guy driving a Tiger tank on red t-shirts. A lot of people were very offended, so there you go. Right, and then we got show report. Editor attends Cavalier 2018. And it's a very good report, I have to say. Mr. Treadaway's always an excellent photographer. And he expresses some concerns about this trend to having you know, Japanese schoolgirls and tanks as part of a game. That is a bit weird. I'm not quite sure about that myself either. Some fantastic photography, some great models, and actually a pretty good content of what goes on there. But when I do a review next World's Illustrated, you can see the difference in style they have there, where each table, if you like, each company is like, here's this company, that's what they had at the show, here's some of their products, this is what they were doing. I think it's more informative, but this is nice chat. What the editor does very well is that nice, engaging, chatty style, sort of tabletop stuff, rather than just an information magazine. So here we go. Anyway, so we've got Dark Horizons, Fantasy Facts, and for all those calling it Hammer's Facts, Hammer Slammer's Facts. Here's some other near future sci-fi. A very long article. It actually starts talking about the product there. The rest is intro, just to give you an idea. They are chatty rather than fact-packed. Anyway, so 70 quid, get some nice figures. I do like the survivors down the bottom. Check those out. Alright. Interesting article, well written, and once again here, this is, I actually bought this myself just because I like the figures so much. Everyone's a Star Wars fan at a certain point, aren't they? Maybe not the last film or what they've done with it. Now they're slaughtering the franchise, but I won't get onto that. That's for another video. But going back to the good old days with the likes of Darth Vader, they're cracking figures, and you get a load actually. The starter set, I think we actually paid less than £70 for ours, and you get at least 35 figures and a walker and stuff like that. So it's pretty good value, I thought. And they are beautiful sculpts. Mr. Treadaway seems to come to the same conclusions, really. And he talks about some other things about gluing them together and what they do. What else we got there? Oh yes, but the expansion sets are ready to go with it. Okay, here, so we got this Burrows and Badgers, which get a lot of coverage, a lot of hype. Most of this, all this is Mr. Treadaway's dislike of those kind of things. They are, it's an interesting book. I've seen other reviews of it since this magazine came out. I'm a bit behind on reviews. And oh, hang on a second. There's a Slammer's Facts, in case you thought it'd been missed out. More stuff. Use it from, it's usually, what's it called, Brigade Models, Stowage, there we are, and all that kind of stuff. And there's a Space Age mat. You've got to have your hammers, Slammers hammers, hammer slammers, whatever it is. Adverts, I want to speed up. This is an interesting, good article. I like it when they do this kind of thing. Here's a rules writer. He says his first set of, actually it's not his first set of rules. There's a similar article in this month's Wargames, so I'm getting mixed up. But this is how you went about writing it, how you get it published, the processes, what you need to do if you want to get your own rules published. All in all, excellent article, stunningly beautiful figures, and really good. I really enjoyed reading that. And in depth, there's a lot of coverage, okay? And then another brilliant article, which I found very interesting. I put a little star by it, my star article for this month. And the editor, fair play, he's gone out and made the effort. And so I think there's more of this you want to see. Go out and see these companies, talk to them, but really start digging a bit with the questions. You know, don't make it too easy. Don't just chuck them pies, you know. Give them a few tough ones. And this is all about, actually, there's another article, might even be more of a star article. How they do it, how they digitally process stuff, all that kind of thing. How you get your own stuff customized. And I've forgotten the sculptor, I do apologise. Is it Steve Saller? Hang on. One of the sculptors. Chris Tubb. I think there's another sculptor interviewed as well. Anyway, the point is how he had to adapt from physical sculpting to using digital sculpting. Very interesting, and where the market's definitely gone. And then another cracking article, which I love, possibly a favourite. If you watch some of my other videos, such as making spears for free, and I've got some more coming up, making swords for free, and all that kind of stuff. I love making things, especially free. And these are great. This is The Future is Foam by Jeremy Claridge, Indestructible Scenery. And it's using, I think you should get the magazine. Anyway, it's using some sort of mats. And I think it's brilliant. It says it takes paint well, glues well, tips on how to do it. That article I thought was worth it in itself. Some more adverts. Another bit of an indulgent article here, which is this continuation of Southwest United States, all about what goes on there, and lots of these, I have to say, mostly old Kevin Dallimore pics which I've seen before from his painting guides and books and things. And this article, not just for that reason, is a bit indulgent, although this is very funny. I do like this. And yeah, I think of was it Chevy Chase film and all that. Great, someone's going to cut their heads right in the middle of my video. Another great picture. I think you probably recognise a lot of these figures, Warlord figures painted up for the painting guide. So there you go. Foundry, sorry, I said Warlord then. Freudian slip. Alright, so this stuff, there's more and more and more and more. And I've read it all, and it's good, you know, but I mean, it's a book. How much do you really want to read about Southwest States? I think it's just the third part or the fourth part. It's a massive article, you know, I've got get the book. And even at the end of all that, it's not really that Wargames friendly. Speaking of which, Recce, which again, interesting books, historical books. None of them really are the most wargamey books. I thought were those two really. And it's quite a good comparison here between the two books about cavalry in the English Civil War, or the War of Three Kingdoms as it's now called these days. There's lots of interesting history books, and you know, Crimean War. This is quite amusing. The Filthy Dozen, which apparently is what the inspiration for the Dirty Dozen. So there we are. There's lots of interesting books to hear about. I wouldn't call them wargaming, any of them. Memoirs of a British Officer, for example, very interesting, I'm sure, but I don't think there's any battles at all in that. Right, okay, then on to small ads, and then we got another article. So this is a packed issue. Fair play. Maybe my rumours I've seemed to have started about the demise of this magazine and being folded into tabletop gaming is just a bit premature. And whatever they do, they better keep in Conrad and Wargaming Widows, because they are consistently good quality articles. And this is about producing a big, muddy river, swampy river, and her usual humour. And I also give the editor a bit of stick for interjecting with his little editor's comments. In this magazine, there's about 4 or 5, and I have to say there's 5, 4 of them are spot on, and this is what editors' comments are okay for. For example, right? The Wargame had drawn out a rather good scale sketch of the battlefield of Poltava, some 20 by 6 foot in size when finished. At one end were my redoubts, my road snaked majestically across the table past my charged villages, and into a large tented fortified camp I had made him. Brackets then, see several previous issues, Ed. See, useful. And there's a couple of other comments I highlighted them in to bring up from other things. And then how to make water effects, a different approach, how to smell. And here's another good one from the editor. You know, credit where credit's due. I don't have an agenda here or anything. I'm just objectively reporting back what I feel every month and the overall. And in this one, basically, Wargame Widows used Gorilla Glue by accident, surprised by the effect. And there's some notes then from Mr. T explaining how you use this stuff and what it's useful for, which I found very useful. I wouldn't mind an article on it if you could follow up, please. And this issue goes on and on and on. Good value, I have to say, this month. Simon Parsons has now done one about setting up an online user group, basically. What do they call it? A forum chat. They're calling it like an online wargaming club. And it does look a lot of fun, and it's tied up with 2 fat lardies and looks brilliant. And there you go. There's some of the things they're doing, protocols, you know. So how to do it, really. They're up to a couple of 100 members, and it's going very well, it says. Another house ad for this, Tabletop Gaming Live. There's your normal list of all the clubs, and some small ads, which I notice is on 2 pages this month, so there you go. I haven't done a check on the display advertising, but this does look like a very healthy issue full of good content, well written, lots in there to do it. So yeah, that's about the best one I've seen for a long time. So let's hope the high standards is going to continue. So there you go, I've flown through that a bit quickly and I hope everyone's enjoyed it. I have a load of videos to catch up on, battle reports, I've got more making stuff for free and more reviews. So until the next time, oh please leave your comments. I've got loads of comments last couple of videos, I do enjoy them. They're all very positive. I don't mind people having a go, alright? I don't mind, I quite like it. So anyway, till the next time, keep rolling!
是否还能红着脸？就像那年匆促刻下永远一起那样美丽的谣言。如果过去还值得眷恋，愿它靠冰释前嫌。谁的心就这样彼此无挂也无牵？我们要互相亏欠，要不然凭何怀念？
Hi, welcome to Miniature Wargames review, and this is the, I forgot what it was now, May 2018. Alright.